They say there have been a war every single time, but every war has an end. Yeah, in fact, the World War ended, the World War II ended, the Cold War ended, but this war seems not to be ending anytime soon. Israel and Gaza war ended. The war was so typical out there, but now they finally ended. Although Israel put up some attacks on Gaza every single time, but on papers, and if you compare it with the other time, the war has officially ended. But these two countries are not coming on any common grounds, negotiations, and all of it. And Donald Trump has put up this whole disclaimer out there that if this war does not end, there would be a catastrophe. There would be a time when it could lead to World War III. And this is like a big statement coming up. Which are these two countries who are not negotiating at all? No matter how many times India, US, and European Union have tried to put them on the same table. Even after that, it is not ending. Who is this president who has their bids really high? Let's just discuss about it. Before starting, hello everyone, this is Shivachitranshi and you're watching Global Shark right now. So the countries which I was talking about was Russia and Ukraine. The war started in 2022 February around, last January to starting of the February. And today it's like almost 3 years have been passed, but the war is not ending. A lot of time these people have been kept on the table, but Vladimir Putin has this entire thing. The war came into existence only because Ukraine was signing this agreement with NATO, and he was actually going and joining the NATO whole and their entire team. But Russia had the problem with this because if they would have joined NATO, then it would be a national security thing for Russia. Because you see, these are the Western countries, this is Ukraine, and this is Russia. So even if the Ukraine gets by the side of Western countries, Russia would be on the brink of national security, and the whole Western organization could keep a close watch over Russia's military empowerment and a lot of more things. And Russia got really scared of the fact. Russia rushed like anything and came up with a war. Now the war is not ending only because Russia wants the eastern part of the Ukraine, which are the Luhansk, Donbass area, which is the neighboring border to Russia. People out there have similar ethnicity as of Russia is having. So basically, Russia is calling them their cultural unity, and they should go back, or Russia should annex it and everything. But out there, Ukraine soldiers have been in a mark where they have performed really well. I mean, they have been long-standingly taking a stand at the war like anything, although they have been held by NATO organization, NATO countries, and these countries have heavily funded Ukraine with a lot of things. Now, there are like two, three theories why this war is not ending. Firstly, that no matter how many times Donald Trump is claiming in front of the whole world that he wants this war to be ended, but somehow the other way, there are like propagandas and theories that US and European Union are actually getting an insight about Russian military and everything. So there's this another way of having a war where you don't put up your military on the foremost area, but you put up the other country fighting with the opponent, or should I say with the competitive country, and then you get to know about their plans, their strategy, their defense system, and a lot of things. And that is why the negotiation has not been done. There is a theory like this also. But the other theory is that Ukraine does not want to give even a single piece of the land to Russia. But in the war, you don't work that way. If Russia has tried level best and wanted to come up with the war and all of it, if they wanted to actually annex the whole place, you cannot really stop them. Even if the international forums are saying that this is wrong and everything, but if somebody has this thing of occupying or grabbing something, they won't stop. But in this entire scenario, there's one thing which is, missed by a lot of people. It is just not only about the war between Russia and Ukraine. The war between Russia and Ukraine have been going around with for months and years right now. But even after that, in between, Donald Trump was quiet about the war. He was not discussing about it. And do you think that there could be any coincidence that why all of a sudden Donald Trump came up with this ideology or this theory that this war should end? I mean, I'm pissed and all of it. One is, of course, Donald Trump wants Nobel Peace, but he did not get it. So he could come up with this, but this is like a very childish reason. Let's come on the major reason. Recently, when Russian President Vladimir Putin came to India, everybody was famished with the fact that there has been friendship and all of it. Whereas Russia is on the brink. Russia anyway has targeted India in the past like anything. So if they cannot target China, they're targeting India because India is having a very good friendship with Russia right now. Right now, US was having a little problem with that. Maybe because of that can be also a reason why these two countries are going under this entire thing right now, and because of that also the war is not ending. But keeping that aside, US President Donald Trump came up with this whole theory just right now after the visit, and he was quite before that for months and months. No matter how much he has tried to end this war, the war has still not ended. And US President has nothing to do with the war. If he would have had something to do with the war, he would have, taken significant step for Ukraine to be protected or to be a part of NATO and everything. But there was this one time when US President Donald Trump came up with this whole thing that they are not going to give the membership to the Ukraine, or also they are not going to facilitate NATO's money on Ukraine's entire war fund and everything. But after all of this, US President Donald Trump, after 3 years, came up with this whole statement that I feel very sorry for Ukraine. Last month only, 25,000 people died in the whole war and everything. So I don't like destruction. That is what Donald Trump came up with and said. But that's not the actual reason. The reason is that he wants to portray Russia's image in a very, very idiotic manner, should I say, in a very negative manner, that this man, this country out there is coming for invasion. So please be aware of it, because Russia is fighting to Ukraine. Russia's only good relation and bond have been left in Asia, but they actually do not have anybody or any country who is supporting Russia when it comes to Western countries. And in the same manner, if you see, Russia has been quite a fast or quicker mover, because the US President Donald Trump has tried a lot and still getting really, really miserably failed. And then you see, and on the other hand, there's like friendship also going on really, really well. So the major question arises that what is the propaganda between all of it? Why is US actually being so quiet when India and Russia are having good bond? And not even just that, if he was quiet for so long, why did he came up right now and came up with this irrelevant experiment? And the experiment shows Russia is still a very good friend of India.